I'll give you my car if you wash it with the dirty water from that puddle.
At a New York intersection, a billionaire bets his own car just to humiliate a homeless man. But what begins as a cruel joke turns into the day when the dirt chooses a new owner. "I'll give you my car if you wash it with the dirty water from that puddle," shouted Travis Monroe, his voice cutting through the traffic noise like a blade. The billionaire leaned out of the window of his black SUV, his flawless suit reflecting the glow of surrounding headlights. His bodyguards laughed, one of them pulling out his phone to record. A fine rain fell over the greasy asphalt, turning the ground into a murky mirror of neon and grime. Across the street, Daniel Brooks, thin, unshaven, held a soaked rag in both hands, trying to hide the tremor that didn't come from the cold. "I'll give you my car if you wash it with the dirty water from that puddle," Travis repeated, louder this time, savoring the mockery. He twisted the lid of his expensive coffee cup and sneered. "Come on, man. Show us what a real worker does to earn a living." The others laughed louder, the car windows vibrating with their amusement. Daniel glanced at the puddle by the curb. More mud than water, a mix of rain and engine oil. He took a breath, lifted his gaze and met Travis's eyes. For a second, the sound of horns seemed to fade away. "You serious?" he asked, voice rough, almost a whisper. "More than ever," Travis replied. "If you wash it properly, it's yours, title, keys, everything." He patted the car's hood like one taunts a chained dog. "But it has to be with that water, no cheating." A woman's laugh echoed between the cars, stopped at the light. From behind the wheel of a red sedan she was filming. "Oh my God, is this real?" she murmured, but kept the camera pointed. Daniel looked down. A surge of anger rose in his throat, but he swallowed it. The rag hung heavy in his hand, dripping dark drops onto the pavement. Travis stepped out of the car, spreading his arms like a showman. "Look, folks, we've got ourselves a man desperate for a new ride. Let's see if he deserves it." His bodyguards laughed, one of them waving a $100 bill. 5 minutes and he'll quit." The sound of impatient horns mixed with laughter, forming a grotesque symphony of contempt. Daniel dropped the cracked plastic bucket he carried, knelt beside the puddle, and plunged the rag into the murky water. The liquid rippled, spreading the smell of rust and gasoline. When he wrung the rag, a dark stream ran through his fingers, and the onlookers reacted with a mix of disgust and fascination. He began scrubbing the bumper slowly, like someone touching an open wound. Silence followed, heavy. The laughter faded, replaced by the rhythm of the rag gliding over metal. Travis crossed his arms, trying to maintain his superior air, but something about Daniel unsettled him. The absence of fear, the steady gaze, the calm that made no sense in humiliation. A girl in a black hoodie standing on the sidewalk raised her phone. "This is going online right now," she told her friend. "He's washing a car with puddle water because a billionaire dared him to." Her friend laughed nervously. "This is gonna blow up." The rain thickened, drops drummed on the SUV roof. Travis straightened his jacket, pulled out his own phone and began filming too, laughing. "Come on, champ, show us your technique. Don't forget to polish the mirrors." He spoke loudly, making sure the video caught every word. Daniel said nothing. Only the sound of water and friction filled the air. A gust of wind pushed a page of newspaper against the tire. In the reflection of the shiny bodywork, Daniel saw Travis's distorted face, a sneer painted on black gloss. He scrubbed harder. The sound scratched like a warning. The crowd grew. Drivers got out of their cars, pedestrians stopped to film. "This is going too far," someone murmured. Travis chuckled. "The limit's his choice. I just made an offer." Daniel stood up, filthy, hands covered in mud. Rain streamed down his face like tears. He looked directly at the billionaire, took a breath, and said calmly, "I'm going to finish what I started." The laughter stopped. A sharp silence fell. The traffic light turned green, but no one moved. The cars behind honked, but nobody seemed to hear. Travis swallowed hard, hiding it behind a faint smirk. The woman in the red sedan was still filming, eyes glistening. "That video's gonna burn you in hell," she whispered. Not sure if she was talking to him or to herself. Daniel knelt again, dipped the rag back into the puddle. The water was nearly black now. When the rag touched the car again, a metallic sound rang out, as if the vehicle itself were protesting. Travis glanced around trying to laugh again, but the sound came out hollow, misplaced. And then, without a word, one of the bodyguards lowered his phone. The other stopped recording. The crowd leaned in, silent, following every motion of the man who, even in humiliation, seemed to have reclaimed something no one else could name. The wind grew stronger. A horn blared in the distance. Travis cleared his throat, trying to break the tension. "Still stands, buddy. Finish up, Nook, and it's yours." Daniel only replied with a look. Water slid down the car's body, pooling on the ground, forming a new reflection. Travis's face dissolving in the puddle, swallowed by the very filth he had chosen. The camera trembled in the woman's hands. She whispered, "He's really doing it. He's going all the way." The soaked rag slid across the hood, and with every motion the sound of the rain seemed to grow louder. Travis Monroe took a step back, his expensive shoes splashing in the mud. "Come on, champ, show us what you can do. Show everyone that dignity can be bought for a car." The laughter returned, but quieter this time. The crowd was growing, curious drivers, delivery riders stopping their bikes. Even a police officer at the intersection glanced over, frowning. Daniel said nothing. The rag moved back and forth, methodical, steady, as if he were not cleaning a car but scrubbing a piece of his own soul that the world had trampled. Travis stepped closer again, phone in hand. "Look at the camera, buddy. Say your name. I want to record this historic moment." Daniel ignored him, focused, the sound of water dripping from his fingers drowning out the billionaire's forced laughter. A blonde woman with a transparent umbrella approached one of the bodyguards. "Is this serious? He's paying that man to wash his car with puddle water." The guard shrugged. "A bet's a bet, ma'am." She started recording too, visibly upset. The rain got heavier, and now the entire street was one long extension of that puddle, a trembling sea of reflections and shame. Travis spoke again, louder, as if needing to prove he was still in control. "You know what's funny? Some people spend their whole lives sweating to get what I have, and when they get a chance like this, they dirty their own hands to prove their worth. It's beautiful, pathetically beautiful." A dry laugh escaped him. Daniel stopped for a second, lifted his gaze and spoke for the first time. "Beautiful is having everything, and still needing to humiliate someone just to feel alive." The crowd reacted with murmurs, some nervous laughter, others filming closer. Travis forced a laugh, but his face stiffened. The philosopher wakes up. "Go on before the rain washes your prize away." Daniel breathed deeply and kept scrubbing, the sound of rain now joined by a strange chorus of vibrating phones, notifications exploding everywhere. The woman in the red sedan, who had been filming since the beginning, had just posted the video with the caption, "Billionaire bets his car to humiliate a homeless man in Manhattan." Within minutes, likes and comments multiplied. "This is gonna be bad," one of the bodyguards whispered. "Let it roll," Travis replied, eyes never leaving Daniel. "The internet loves a show and I'm the producer." The rag slipped and fell to the ground. Daniel picked it up and wrung it again, his hands trembling. A dark stream ran down the sleeve of his torn jacket. The crowd went silent for a few seconds, watching the almost ritualistic gesture. The man seemed to be cleansing something invisible. "Aren't you tired yet?" Travis asked, impatient. "You can stop. I got the moral lesson already." But Daniel kept going. Each stroke of the rag seemed to strip away a layer of Travis's arrogance. A gust of wind flipped the blonde woman's umbrella inside out. The crowd shifted, and in that movement, a child appeared. Maybe 8 years old, yellow hood, curious eyes. "Mom, why is the rich man laughing at the other one?" he asked. The mother lowered her gaze, silent. Travis heard it and scoffed, uncomfortable. "Teach him the world's made of winners and losers. Better he learns early." The woman looked at him with disgust. "The world's made of those who forget and those who remember, and you're going to be remembered." She turned and walked away with her son. Travis exhaled, trying to regain control. "Come on, people, it's not over. He wants the car, he'll finish it." Daniel stood up, looked around. The crowd no longer laughed. The tension had changed, no longer entertainment, but judgment. The billionaire, once master of the scene, now seemed small before what he had created. The blonde woman's camera caught the moment when Daniel, soaked, filthy and silent, turned his face toward the crowd, and then toward the car. He wiped the side mirror. The reflection showed Travis behind him, smiling, but the smile trembled. The image seemed alive, pulsing in the rain. Daniel said nothing, just wiped again, precise, as if each movement were an answer. Travis turned to his guards. "You're recording everything?" "Yes, sir. We're live now. Over 50,000 viewers." "Excellent," he replied, but his voice faltered at the end. A taxi driver rolled down his window and shouted, "Leave the man alone, dude. The car's clean enough." Travis ignored him. "Didn't ask your opinion, pal. Want a car too? Find a puddle and get to work." The taxi sped off, splashing water onto him. The crowd booed. The wind carried the stench of loosened grime. Daniel scrubbed the driver's window. The car, once a symbol of power, was becoming a grotesque metaphor. The cleaner it got, the dirtier its owner appeared. Suddenly someone shouted, "It's online! Over 100,000 views already!" Travis turned, incredulous. "What?" The blonde woman raised her phone. "You've become the guy who makes the poor wash his car with mud. Congrats, Monroe Motors is trending for all the wrong reasons." A sharp silence replaced the laughter. The sound of the rain grew heavier, louder. Travis looked at Daniel as if blaming him. "You don't know who you're dealing with." "I do," Daniel said, wiping the hood. "Someone who can't deal with himself." The crowd reacted. Some applauded, others laughed nervously. Travis tried to smile, but his face froze. He looked toward the police officer, who was now approaching slowly. "Everything's under control here, officer," Travis said. "Just a man earning a gift I asked him to win." The officer didn't answer. He looked at Daniel, then at the billionaire. "He promised you the car if you washed it?" he asked. "He did," Daniel replied firmly. "And you're finishing the job." To the end. Travis folded his arms, uneasy. The crowd was now filming the cop too. "Good, good," he muttered. "We've got witnesses. Everyone will see what happens when someone tries to turn a lesson into a spectacle." He tried to laugh, but his voice trembled. The soaked rag kept sliding over the wet metal, and the sound of the rain had become part of the city's breathing. Travis Monroe stood frozen, fists buried in the pockets of his suit. The crowd surrounded him without touching, but the pressure was tangible, like the air itself had weight. Daniel Brooks kept washing the car, unhurried, his movements precise. With every stroke, the billionaire seemed to shrink a little more. The puddle's reflection trembled, distorting faces into a grotesque circus of mirrors. "Enough of this," Travis said, trying to sound calm. "It's clean enough. Get up." Daniel didn't answer. The billionaire's voice sounded distant, almost irrelevant, beside the sound of water and the growing murmur around them. A man in the crowd said, "He's not done. He said he'd go to the end." Another replied, "Looks like the rich guy's scared of that." Travis spun toward them, pointing angrily. "You think this is heroism? It's a bum scrubbing a car, that's all. Tomorrow you'll forget and go back to begging for my autograph at the Monroe Motors launch." But no one laughed, not even his guards. One stared at the ground, the other up at the sky, avoiding the lens of the woman's camera. Daniel rose, his face streaked with rain and dirt, and wiped the roof of the car. "Forgetting is what you people do best," he murmured. Travis heard it, but pretended not to. The crowd didn't miss it. The phrase spread, multiplied by cell phones, wind, and shared outrage. A distant thunder rolled, shaking the ground. Daniel paused, looked up at the sky, then back at Travis. "You've never worked with your own hands, have you?" Travis forced a laugh. "My job is to think. That's what separates those who command from those who obey." Daniel shook his head. "Then think fast, because it's all collapsing right in front of you." A low rumble rose from the audience. Travis turned, searching for support. "You think he's a saint? You know what he does on street corners when no one's watching? Wiping windshields, begging for change, blocking traffic. And you?" the blonde woman interrupted. "What do you do when no one's watching?" The billionaire had no answer. The rain intensified again, sounding almost like applause for Daniel. He went back to work, the rag gliding over the glass in slow, hypnotic circles. People filmed closer, some with tears mixing with the rain. "You want my respect?" Travis shouted, stepping closer, his voice finally cracking. "You think you can lecture me on morals because you're rolling in mud? This doesn't change anything. Tomorrow I'll still be rich and you'll be back in the same alley." Daniel turned slowly, holding the dripping rag. "The difference is tomorrow I'll still be able to look in the mirror." The crowd reacted. The line hit Travis like a silent punch. He took a step forward, face flushed. One bodyguard reached out to stop him, but Travis shoved him aside. "Don't touch me!" Cameras captured everything. The live stream had already surpassed 5 million views. Comments flooded the screen. "This man's a monster. The poor guy's more dignified than the billionaire. Karma living in color." Travis noticed the notifications on his own phone and turned pale. He tried to hide it, but fury broke through. "Turn that damn thing off," he barked at the guards. "Take her phone now." "Don't touch me," the woman snapped. "You've filmed yourself enough to destroy yourself." The police officer stepped forward, hand resting on his belt. "Sir, calm down. No one's taking anyone's phone." Travis inhaled deeply, eyes desperate to project control. "Calm is what I have plenty of, officer. I just want him to finish and get out of my sight." Daniel knelt again. His hands trembled, not from fear but from restrained ancient anger. Each swipe of the rag carried memory. The day he'd been fired without warning, the laughter at his dirty uniform, the cold rain on his head, the hot coffee spilled by accident. It all came back now, reflected in the polished metal under the streetlights. Travis saw the faraway look in his eyes and tried to reassert control. "You know what? I'm done. Stop. I withdraw the offer." "You can't," said the officer. "There are witnesses, sir, and you made a promise." "A promise isn't a contract." "That depends on who's watching," Daniel replied, not looking up. "And right now, the whole world is." The silence that followed was reverent. Travis stepped back, stumbling into the gutter. The crowd murmured. A woman shouted, "That's right. Show him what it means to have your word." The billionaire brushed at his soaked jacket, trying to recover composure. "You don't understand the game. This is performance. Social marketing." "Then congratulations," Daniel said. "You just sold yourself for free." The crowd erupted in laughter and applause. Travis spun around, enraged. "You're all on the wrong side." But it was too late. No one stood with him anymore. Daniel straightened, looked over the car from top to bottom. "It's almost clean," he said, "but I still have to finish the driver's mirror." Travis swallowed hard. Daniel crouched, dipped the rag into the puddle, and wiped the mirror slowly. The reflection showed Travis standing behind him, drenched, expression hardened, seeing his own fall for the first time. The crowd fell silent. Only the rain spoke. "See what's left?" Daniel asked, not turning his head. Travis said nothing. "That's what you did to others. Now it's your turn." The billionaire staggered back, unsteady. The sound of cameras followed him. Daniel kept wiping, methodical, until the mirror shone. Water streamed to the ground, forming a new reflection, the crowd's. And in that reflection, the powerful man stood alone. The officer raised his chin. "Looks like he's keeping his end of the deal, Mr. Monroe." Travis just stared at the ground, speechless. Daniel stood upright, took a slow breath. "When I'm done," he said, "I want you to really look at this car and ask yourself what actually needs cleaning." The rain stopped. The city seemed to hold its breath. Travis turned his head and saw a reporter approaching, microphone and professional camera in hand. The crowd parted. The man spoke loudly. "We're live with Travis Monroe, the billionaire behind the mud bet." The microphone extended toward him, and the last trace of Travis's smile disappeared completely. The word "finished" echoed between the buildings like a sentence. The rag slipped from Daniel's hands, dripping slowly into the puddle that now reflected the gleaming car and the devastated face of Travis Monroe. For a few seconds, silence reigned. Then one voice broke the air. "Now hand over the keys." The demand became a chant. The crowd joined in unison. "Hand them over! Hand them over!" The police officer stepped forward, firm. "Mr. Monroe, you made a public promise." Travis laughed nervously. It was a joke, just a provocation between different social classes. The reporter, already filming close-up, repeated flatly, "Between different classes." The microphone carried his words straight to the world. The lights from the news van sliced through the drizzle, illuminating the puddle that separated the two men. Its reflection showed a cruel contrast. A billionaire flawless on the outside, melting inside, and a homeless man filthy, but whole. "There's no joke," Daniel said, his voice calm but cutting, "when the other person isn't laughing." The crowd reacted. The murmuring turned to applause, then back to silence, the kind that weighs heavier than noise. Travis looked around, searching for an exit that no longer existed. "You think this is justice? It's theater," he shouted, pointing at the cameras. "This is mass hysteria." "No," said the woman from the red sedan. "It's a mirror." The line went viral in seconds. A TV producer shouted from the back, 2 million views. Travis blinked, trying to process. "What?" "The whole world's watching, Mr. Monroe," said the officer, crossing his arms. "Including your company." Travis took a step back, trying to force a smile. "This changes nothing. Tomorrow everyone forgets." Daniel looked straight at him. "Then record it well, so you'll remember." The reporter lifted his microphone. "Daniel, what do you feel right now?" "Cold," he answered, "but it's not the weather. It's the way the world looks at those who have nothing." Travis scoffed. "Oh, perfect. Now comes the moral lesson. You all want to turn a beggar into a martyr, some street hero for TV to sell emotion. You've sold worse," said a man who had been filming since the start. "You sold dignity and called it opportunity." The tension rose like steam from the puddle. Travis tried to keep control, but his hands trembled. He turned to one of his bodyguards, searching for support, but the man only looked away. Then a new voice cut through the crowd. "I know this man." The crowd parted for a grey-haired woman in a yellow raincoat, her face carved with years of silence. "I worked for him at the Newark branch," she said. "I was fired when I got sick, no rights," and he laughed. Travis turned pale. "I don't know who you are." "Of course you do. I cleaned the offices where you made others clean up your mess." The crowd held its breath. The reporter swung the camera toward her. "Can you repeat that, ma'am?" "I said he laughed. When I asked for help, he laughed, just like he's laughing now." Travis took a step forward. "Enough! This has turned into a circus." "A circus is what you've made of people's lives," she replied. The officer inhaled deeply. "Mr. Monroe, I suggest you show some respect." "Respect is for those who deserve it," Travis shouted, his voice breaking. "That man washing my car is nobody. You should all be grateful just to see me up close. I'm the reason you have jobs, lights, cars, gas." His scream echoed through the street, but no one responded. Silence returned, heavy, cold. Daniel stared at him, unwavering. "You think you're the sun," he said quietly, "but you're just another burnt-out bulb." The crowd began to clap slowly. The sound echoed between the buildings. Travis's face collapsed into fury and fear. "I can sue every one of you," he barked. "Go ahead," said the reporter, "but the trial that started today is of another kind." The TV van turned its camera toward the car, capturing the perfect reflection. Travis drenched, small, trapped between lights and eyes. In the corner of the screen, the view count climbed in real time. "Do you want justice, Daniel?" asked the officer. "Do you want to take the car?" Daniel shook his head. "No, I just want him to do what he promised." "But he's already refused." "Then let everyone see that." Travis shoved the officer. "I don't owe anyone anything." The gesture was captured from every angle. Cameras, phones, news drones. A bodyguard tried to stop him, but he pushed him away. "Get out of my way." Daniel didn't move. "It's always the same. When the rich are exposed, they call it injustice." Travis glared at him with hatred. "You have no idea who you're talking to." "I do," Daniel said. "Someone who's never listened to anyone." The crowd roared. "Speak up, Daniel. Show him." Daniel raised his hands. "I don't need to shout. Truth doesn't scream." Travis took another step and slipped on the wet asphalt, falling sideways, his designer suit splattered with mud. Laughter rose, timid at first, then bolder. He stood up with effort, eyes burning. "It's over, all of this is over." But it wasn't. The reporter turned back to the camera. "We're live in downtown Manhattan, where a billionaire has been confronted by his own arrogance. What began as a mocking bet has become a symbol of a country divided, between those who command and those who serve." Travis stopped, breathing fast, staring at the car, now too clean, too bright, reflecting everything he wanted to hide. The puddle before him looked deeper than before. He crouched, touched the water, and saw his own face break apart in the reflection. Daniel simply said, "The mirror's clean now. It's up to you what you see in it." The crowd stood motionless. The rain had completely stopped, as if even the sky were watching. Travis looked up and saw a third news van pulling in. A digital banner flashed on its side. "Live. The Puddle bet. The day money lost." And for the first time he understood. Nothing he owned could ever buy him back. "You promised," someone said. The police officer confirmed with a short nod. A promise made in front of witnesses. Travis inhaled through his nose, panting, trying to rebuild his posture. It was a provocation. He could have refused. Daniel stared back, unblinking. "Refusing bread doesn't feed the hunger of those watching you play God." The murmuring swelled. The reporter moved closer, the van's display flashing live. The woman from the sedan leaned forward, rain dripping from her hair. "Keep your word and shut up." Travis stepped back, his heels slipping against the curb, grabbing the side mirror to steady himself. "You've turned morality into spectacle." "You built the stage," Daniel replied, scrubbing the wheel arch again, the metal whining under his steady hand. The laughter vanished. In its place, a charged silence, ready to break. "Jared Collins, auditor," said a thin man, holding out receipts and printed emails. "Late severances, unpaid overtime, names, dates." The reporter took a page, read it, looked into the camera. Travis clicked his tongue. "Cheap forgery." Jared pointed at the stamp. "Authenticated file, Newark." The crowd leaned in. The rain, complicit, washed the dust off the ink. The officer jotted down the protocol number. Travis bit his lip, searching for his security guards and finding only two motionless silhouettes. "This is defamation." Daniel cleaned the mirror. The billionaire's reflection trembled inside the glass he'd demanded to shine. "It's not defamation if it's true." The line spread through phones like sparks on wire. A deliveryman raised his bike. "Pay what you owe and hand over what you promised." Travis tried to laugh, but it came out dry and broken. Half a cough. A yellow cab honked, stopping at the crosswalk. From the back seat stepped Frank, still in a worn garage uniform. "He trained me," he said, pointing to Daniel. "Was fired a week before our health plan was cut. I saw it." Travis shook his head, his eyes darting from camera to camera, as if searching for a physical exit inside a screen. "You all think you know my life because you've got Wi-Fi?" Frank held up a cracked phone case with an email printed inside. The reporter read aloud, "Expendable employees don't deserve second chances." The crowd swallowed hard. Someone cursed softly, afraid to break the gravity of the moment. Daniel lowered the rag, exhaling slow. "I don't want pity." Travis stepped closer. "You want an audience. I want a kept word." The officer stepped to the driver's door. "Mr. Monroe, do you confirm you promised to transfer ownership of the vehicle upon completion of the cleaning?" Travis spread his arms. "I confirm that the internet doesn't decide contracts. Today it decides character," Daniel said, and the phrase fell like a stone in water. Anger finally found its shape. "You expect me to give away a car every time someone rubs mud?" Travis threw the question to the sky. No answer came. The woman from the sedan did. "We just want those who have everything, not to use others' little as a toy." The circle closed in. A bodyguard removed his badge and set it on the hood. The gesture drew a ripple of disbelief. The badge gleamed like confession. Travis stood smaller than the chrome emblem he once ruled. Daniel wrung out the rag. Dark water streamed down like old ink. "Hand over the keys," said the officer. "Or explain live why not." The reporter went silent, leaving room for the answer that never came. "You don't command me." "Your word does," said Daniel. Simple, and therefore inescapable. A black SUV from the district attorney's office pulled up quietly. From it stepped Clara O'Neill, navy blazer, badge glinting. "We're monitoring this, Mr. Monroe." He tried to sneer. "Crime of opinion." She pointed to the puddle. "The facts are reflected." Travis looked at his own outline dissolving in dirty water and realized there was no good angle left. "Fine," he muttered, his voice scraping. He pulled the keychain from his pocket and raised it like an inverted trophy. "You want it? Take it." He threw it. The keys bounced on the asphalt, skimmed the puddle's edge, and came to rest at Daniel's feet. Daniel didn't pick them up right away. He watched the metal breathe in the rain, testing the moral weight of the gesture. Then he bent slowly, lifted them with both hands, not raising them in victory, but placing them gently on the polished hood. "A word shouldn't touch the ground," he said. The murmur turned into a heavy, contained applause. The lights shimmered on the wet metal. Verdict delivered. Daniel stared at the keys, drew a deep breath and lifted his chin toward Travis. Suspended in the air was a quiet promise. "Tomorrow, at 8, someone will start that engine. No noise needed." The metallic sound of the keys still vibrated on the ground when the reporter knelt and showed the reflection to the camera. A billionaire bowed, a homeless man standing tall. The contrast was brutal. Travis Monroe ran a hand over his face, mixing mud and shame. Daniel Brooks said nothing. His silence hurt more than any word could. The crowd held its breath. The police officer, hat now tilted by the rain, crossed his arms and waited. "Will you hand it over?" he asked, almost a whisper. Travis looked up, and for the first time seemed unsure how to use his own voice. "Take those damn keys already," he said hoarsely. "Take the car, take everything, just leave me alone." Daniel bent down, picked up the keychain carefully and raised it to eye level, not as a trophy but as a mirror. The metal reflected Travis's face, small, distorted. "It's not about the car," he said. It's about your word. Travis tried to laugh, but the sound cracked in the air. Word? This is the real world. Words don't buy anything. Daniel stepped closer. They buy respect. The crowd reacted, a muffled chorus. The woman from the sedan was crying without realizing it. A delivery man let go of his bike and began to clap slowly. Others followed. The lights of the cameras danced on the wet asphalt. Travis looked around, his face lost among expressions that no longer recognized him. You think you're saints? That life's fair? He'll wake up tomorrow still poor and you'll forget him, he shouted. But no one will forget you, the reporter replied. Travis turned toward the van, breathing hard. Cut the feed. Cut it now. The cameraman didn't move. The officer stayed firm. It's public. There's no cut for the truth. The tension snapped. Travis tore off his suit jacket and threw it to the ground. You want to see a man stripped of everything? Look well. This is what you wanted, isn't it? Daniel watched in silence. His calm was an even crueler mirror. No one took anything from you, Travis. You just saw yourself for the first time. The billionaire stumbled, laughed without sound. You think you've won? No, I just stopped losing. The words spread like wind through cell phones. Live chats boiled. Hashtags exploded. Comments flew across screens nationwide. Somewhere high above, a window opened and a voice shouted, "Wash it again, Daniel!" Laughter, applause, tears, all mixed together. The officer walked up to Travis and handed him a document. Ms. O'Neill from the district attorney's office will contact you. There are formal complaints about labor abuses. This footage will be attached. Travis lowered his eyes. You're trying to destroy my life. Daniel's voice stayed calm. No, just showing the part you hid. He turned his back and began to walk away. The crowd opened a path. Travis stood frozen, face tense, and shouted, "Come back here, you can't just walk away." Daniel didn't stop. "I can when you're free, you always can." The billionaire looked around and, in a desperate gesture, kicked the keys. They struck the curb and fell again into the puddle, exactly where it all began. A camera click captured the moment. The photo would be on the front page the next morning, the symbol of a fall. The reporter spoke in a low voice. The car that started this story ends where it began, covered in dirty water and truth. The rain returned, fine and steady, washing away the last traces of arrogance. Travis tried to pick up the keys, but the reflection stopped him. The face staring back was that of a stranger. He knelt, and for the first time, no one laughed. The silence was heavy, almost compassionate. Daniel, several meters away, looked back. "You know what's funny?" he said. "In the end, the one who needed cleaning the most was you." The crowd erupted in applause. The sound echoed like moral thunder. Travis lowered his head, the rain mixing with the tears he didn't bother to hide. The officer gave a final warning. "Mr. Monroe, Ms. O'Neill wants to see you now. You'd better cooperate." Travis didn't answer. He just knelt there, soot-stained, the gleaming car behind him. The perfect irony. Daniel disappeared around the corner, the rag hanging from his hand, light as redemption. The woman from the sedan followed him with her camera until he vanished into the fog. "He didn't take the car," she said live, "but he took the country with him." The crowd began to disperse. Only the sound of rain and the distant flash of a siren remained. Travis still stared at the puddle. Inside it, his reflection wavered, fractured, reformed, until for a fleeting moment he seemed to see not his own face but Daniel's, calm, serene. The reporter closed the broadcast with a grave tone. Sometimes what we call luck is just justice finding its way back. The next morning, New York woke up with both their faces on every screen. "The Puddle Bet," the headlines read. "Billionaire humiliates homeless man and loses more than a car." The video that had begun as mockery had already surpassed 50 million views. TV channels dissected every frame. Analysts debated the symbol of an era. Travis Monroe watched from his glass apartment, the one that towered over the city skyline. Sunlight passed through the windows but seemed to avoid him. His phone never stopped. Lawyers, directors, shareholders. No one called to ask if he was okay, only to contain the disaster. His image was collapsing on the stock exchange. Monroe Logistics had lost contracts, and the reflection in the mirror showed something he no longer recognized. On the table lay a printed article, "Daniel Brooks, the man who washed more than a car." The photo showed Daniel cleaning the hood, eyes down, utterly serene. Travis ran his fingers over the image, and felt the same vertigo from the night before. The sound of rain still echoed inside him, even under a clear sky. Across town, Daniel woke in a temporary shelter. He hadn't slept well. The borrowed phone blinked non-stop. Messages, offers, interviews, people promising jobs, others promising fame. He ignored them all. He washed his face in the cold sink, looked into the cracked mirror, and whispered, "I don't need a stage." He put on the same torn coat and walked to a street corner where volunteers served soup to the homeless. He asked to help. The coordinator recognized him from the video, hesitated, then smiled. "You want to serve?" Daniel nodded. He took the ladle and began filling bowls, each motion simple and pure, the antithesis of spectacle. By afternoon, a news van parked outside the shelter. A reporter found him. "People want to know what you'll do with the car." Daniel wiped his hands on a rag and replied without looking at the camera, "I'll donate it. It's not mine. It belongs to the lesson." "And the billionaire? He'll see himself. Maybe that's the start." Meanwhile, high above in the glass tower, Travis stared at his own reflection in a 15-meter window. The car, now ownerless, had been towed by court order. It would be officially transferred to Daniel in fulfillment of the public promise. His lawyer spoke endlessly, but Travis wasn't listening. Down below, people gathered, taking photos at the building's entrance, holding signs. "A word is worth more than a fortune." He opened the window. The wind carried the distant hum of the city. The echoes of the previous night's jeers seemed to cut through time. "You just saw yourself for the first time." Daniel's voice echoed in his memory. Travis closed his eyes, inhaled deeply, and for a moment wished he could go back, to that intersection, before the puddle, before the sentence, "I'll give you my car if you wash it with the dirty water from that puddle." He wanted to undo the words. But karma doesn't make change. At the shelter, Daniel helped a little girl hold her bowl of soup. "Is it hot?" he asked. The girl smiled shyly. A woman filmed from afar, but Daniel said softly, "No cameras, please." She lowered the phone. The silence that followed was pure. Hours later, at dusk, Daniel walked to the public garage where the car had been taken. A worker handed him the official document. "It's yours." He looked at the vehicle, clean, shining, still, placed his hand on the hood. "It's already done what it needed to do." He walked around, opened the glove compartment, and left a note inside. "May it carry those who need to go farther." Then he walked away, without looking back. Minutes later, a family who had been sleeping in an old car nearby approached. The mother, stunned, read the note and saw the key. She cried without sound. Her little boy ran in circles, laughing. A journalist's camera caught the scene, not on purpose, but by chance. The image went viral. The new car rolling slowly away, carrying 3 lives and 1 hope. That night, Travis watched the footage alone. He couldn't cry. He just closed the laptop and stared at his own dark reflection on the screen. The city flickered outside, but no longer included him. He picked up his phone, typed Daniel's name, then erased it before sending anything. Humility, he realized, requires a courage he didn't yet have. Daniel, lying on the thin mattress at the shelter, stared at the stained ceiling and thought about the day that had passed. The distant noise of traffic was the same as always, but now it sounded light. He closed his eyes. For the first time in a long time, he slept in peace. The reporter who had followed the story ended his final broadcast. In a country where fortune and shame blur together, a dirty man showed what it means to be clean. And a billionaire discovered that the mirror never lies. If you were moved by this story, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.